Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. We'd like to call the meeting to order at 4 o'clock. And Yvette will read the language under public content.
Thank you, Madam President. In order to help assure compliance with the Brown Act and in order to make our board meetings more effective and more efficient, trustees will speak only when recognized, and trustees who speak on a topic other than the agenda item currently under consideration will be out of order. Board meeting protocols. The safety and decorum of school board meetings are important to Stockton Unified School District and the community. SUSD promotes the public's right to free speech, and we want to make sure that all community members, parents, and students are able to participate in a safe environment. We want to ensure all community members have a seat during the board meeting. We will have the maximum number of chairs allowed per fire code, which is 132. We ask that members of the public do not stand along the side of the walls or block the walkway. Anyone standing during the meeting will be asked to take a seat. If they do not comply, they will be asked to leave. Any accredited news media representative who is standing will have a press credential clearly visible. There's a table and a chair positioned in front of the first row of chairs. No one other than the person who is speaking may be at the table except for a guardian, an administrator, or a translator. For safety, people may not line up behind the speaker to wait their turn. We want to give the person at the table the time and respect they deserve. Each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes. Attendees are not allowed to enter the area past the table where board members are seating. No profanity or obscenity. During the board meeting, if there is a disruption, the board president or designee will give a verbal warning to the person or persons causing the disruption. If the disruption continues after the verbal warning, the individual or individuals will be asked to leave or be removed from the premises for the remainder of the board meeting. After the meeting is concluded, we ask community to clear the lobby area in a respectful manner. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you, Ms. Yvette. Now moving on to item 1.2, roll call, please. That would be also taken by Yvette.
Thank you, Madam President. President Angel Ann Flores.
Present.
Thank you. Vice President Stevens.
Present.
Clerk Colon.
Present.
Trustee Denaire.
Here.
Trustee Mendez.
Here.
Trustee Rico.
Presente.
Trustee Zulueta.
Here.
And our student representative, Abby Welker, is absent today. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you. And on item 1.3, student board representative report by Abby Walker of Chavez High School. Since in her absence, we are graciously appreciative of Ms. Shelby Miller of Stockton Early College Academy, who is going to go ahead and report for Ms. Abby.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shelby Miller, and I am a senior at Stockton Early College Academy, and I'm currently the student body president. I would like to start by thanking our current governing officials and the Stockton Unified Administration for giving me the space to speak tonight and share with you the fantastic things that are currently happening on our campus. As spring break is quickly approaching, that means we are almost at the halfway point of our second semester. Our first semester was an extremely successful one, and those successes have carried on into this one. All students on our campus completed anywhere from 1 to 4 college courses and will be doing so again in this coming semester. To coincide with that, a majority of our seniors are on track to earn their associate's degree by graduation. 101 of our 105 graduating seniors applied to a 4-year college or university, and all 105 students intend on attending college in the fall. Many of our seniors have already received acceptance offers, and we anticipate more to come in this coming month. We are especially proud of Ms. Evelyn Sanchez, who was awarded the full ride Questbridge Scholarship to attend Colgate University in the fall. Apart from those academic achievements, our calendar has been filled with events to help students enjoy themselves outside of our classrooms. Our leadership program hosted events such as Club Rush, a Spirit Week and a rally, a fall dance, and our annual multicultural fair during our first semester. Our Friday Night Live Club has done an excellent job with its mental health committee and has even been able to take its projects to a statewide level. We also have had numerous college visits, movie nights, and other activities to help promote the growth of our students and encourage unity among all of our grade levels. As I mentioned, the second semester is already proving to be an extraordinary one. So far, we've successfully put on our annual winter formal, and this week our leadership team is hosting its own take on kindness and art week. On top of that, our academic decathlon and mock trial teams went into competition and represented SECA skillfully, as did our MESA program just this last weekend. With that, we look forward to seeing many more events and milestones, such as our Spirit Week and rally, prom, AP testing, grad night for our seniors, and even graduation, and so much more in between. Again, thank you so much for the invitation and the opportunity to speak on behalf of my school this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shelby. Donald, is this your school? Okay, here's yours. Shelby, would you like to come up? Actually, wait a minute. Ty, can you come up? And we kind of did this a little backwards because I was confused. But go ahead and come up and let's talk about Shelby and her good things at your school.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to all of you. I want to follow up, which is hard to do, behind Shelby. She's a much better public speaker than I am, but Shelby is our current student body president. She is a member of many clubs, including the Multicultural Club, our MESA. I'm pushing on it. Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. All right, so let me start over. Shelby is our current student body president. She is a member of our Multicultural Club. She's a member of our ASB and leadership. She's basically in charge of all events on campus as our president, and she's an amazing support to everyone. She is currently in the last semester of her senior year and is going to graduate at the top of her class. She's applied to several universities and is hoping to go to UCLA to become a doctor eventually. And so it was my pleasure to reintroduce Shelby to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. And then Ty and Shelby, do you have your parents here with you? Can they come up and take a picture with you, please? Make sure you come back to us and keep us updated on what you're doing. Okay, moving on to item 1.5, which is oral suggestions. And Abby will announce the number of public comments and request each person to provide their public comment in order they were received. Christina will be the timekeeper.
Thank you. Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. Trustees, we do not have any comment cards for item 1.5. Thank you.
Thank you. And we will now move on to item 1.6, which is public employee discipline dismissal release. And that's only if any employee requests that complaints or charges be heard in open session. Ms. Diane, do we have any cases?
I'm not aware, no notice.
Thank you. Item 1.7, the board will consider in closed session items listed in closed session by our Vice President, Kanitha Stevens.
Thank you, Trustee Flores. So in closed session, we will discuss 2.1, a public employee appointment, certificated government code S54957, 957, leave of absence, resignation, retirement, and appointment. 2.2A, public employee appointment, classified, Government Code S 54957. Leave of absence, resignation, rescind, employment offer, or appointment. 2.3A, conference with labor negotiator, S 54957.6, district chief agency negotiator, Dr. Tracy E. Miller, interim superintendent, and Miss Wendy D. Simone, interim assistant superintendent, human resources, employment organizations, STA, CSEA 821, CSEA 318, CSEA 885, SUSU, SPPA, Police Officers Association, USA, NUHW, non-represented employees. 2.4A, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, subsection D1 of Government Code Section 54956.9, Jewel Labs, Inc., marketing, sales practices, and products liability litigation, Federal District Court for the Northern District of California. Case number 319 MD 02913. WHO, and claimed by Keenan Michael James Johnson, also claimed by Kiera Zapata Dumau. 2.5A, adoption of resolution number 2284, release assignment of certificated administrators and classified management interim positions. 2.6A, adoption of resolutions number 2285 for release none re-election and certificated probationary employees. 2.7A, adoption of resolution number 2275 for release of non-re-election of certificated temporary employees. Back to you, Trustee Flores.
Thank you. And moving on to item 1.8, which is we will recess to close session. Hey, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for hanging in there with us. Moving on to item 3.1, where we convene to public session at 5:13. And then 4.1, we're going to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Yasmin Espinoza, ASB Executive Secretary, Marisa Cumplido, Senior Class Secretary, and Ataxia Tamua, Junior Class President from Stagg High School. Did I say your names right? Yeah? No? Correct me. How do you say your name right? Atavia? Atavia. Oh, Atavia. All right. Go ahead and step up so that you can come and do our Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready? Ready? Oh. Okay. Ready? Salute. Is it working? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And our Vice President's going to come down and get a picture with you ladies, so please don't leave yet.
I had the opportunity to meet with them earlier this year, doing some great work with our feeder school, making sure that 8th graders were extremely comfortable with. It's on. Mic check, mic check, mic check. It's on. Nope. Low. Okay. It's low. So this is my ASB from Stagg High School. Really excited about the work that they're leading with 8th grade feeder students, making sure that they feel comfortable and knowing the campus when coming to Stagg High School. So I just want to salute and honor you all for the great work that you've done to make sure that feeder schools feel comfortable coming to high school. Thank you. We'll get a picture. Leave the principal, just standing on the sideline.
Okay, moving on to item 4.2, action taken in closed session by Vice President Kenitha Stevens.
Thank you so much, trustee Flores. So in closed session, the board motioned to approve item 2.1, public employee appointment certificated, leave of absence, resignation, and retirement, and also appointment. It was a 4-2-1 vote with Cologne, Donaire, Flores, and Stevens voting yes. Noes, trustees Mendez, Rico, and an abstention from trustee Zulueta. Board motion to approve item number 2.2, public employee appointment classified, leave of absence, resignation, retirement, appointment. Motion carried 4-1-2. Yes votes were Cologne, Donaire, Flores, and Stevens. No vote was trustee Mendez, and we had 2 abstentions by trustees Rico and Zulueta. Item 2.3 was informational only, no action to report. Item 2.4A, in closed session, the board by a vote of 4-1, the majority instructed district council to settle the matter of Jewel Labs, Inc., marketing, sales practices, and products liability litigation, Federal District Court for the Northern District of California, case number 319MD02913, WHO against Jewel Labs, Inc., and its founders, directors, and board members up to the stipulated amount. Board voted as followed. Yes votes were Cologne, Donaire, Flores, and Stevens. No votes, trustee Mendez. Abstentions, trustees Zulueta and Rico. On the claim made by Keenan Michael James Johnson, no action to report. The trustees motion to recommend the motion for the rejection of claim by Kiera Zapata. Trustees voted 4-1, Cologne, Donaire, Flores, and Stevens. Yes votes, no votes, trustee Mendez. Abstentions, trustees Rico and Zulueta. In closed sessions, board motion to accept item 2.5, adoption of resolution 22.84, release assignment of certificated administrators, classified management interim positions. The vote passed 4-3. Yes votes Cologne, Donaire, Flores, and Stevens. No votes Mendez, Rico, and Zulueta. Board motion to pass item number 2.6, adoption of resolution 2285 for the release, non-reelection of certificated probationary employees. 4.3, motion carried 4.3 by yes votes, Cologne, Donaire, Flores, and Stevens. No votes, Mendez, Rico, and Zulueta. In closed session, board motion to approve the resolution 2.1, adoption of resolution number 2275 for the release, non-reelection of certificated temporary employees. Motion carried 4-3. Yes votes Cologne, Donaire, Flores, and Stevens. No votes Mendez, Rico, and Zulueta. Those are all actions approved or denied for closed session. Back to you, trustee Flores.
Thank you. Moving on to item 4.3, the order of agenda, and Abby will read the oral announcement.
This is the opportunity for the Board of Trustees to make any changes to the order of the agenda. Otherwise, the order of the agenda will be as published. Thank you.
Do I have any requests to change the order of the agenda from colleagues on the board? No. Okay, moving on to,
Madam President, I believe there's
Yeah,
an
we gotta-
announcement that needs to be made pertaining to a green sheet for an item in open session.
is that this?
The green sheet should be in your portfolios.
Okay, so at the request of Human Resources, the title under Management Services is being updated and removing one Chinese FTE from Exhibit 8 under Pre-K 12 Teaching Services.
Also, copies of this handout are available in the back table.
Okay, moving on to item 5.1, which is oral suggestions, and Abby will announce the number of public comments and request each person to provide their public comment in an order they were received. Christina will be the timekeeper.
Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. Trustees, we currently have 5 comment cards for item 5.1. The first speaker is Ms. Brenda Vasquez regarding item 6.2.
Good evening. Good evening. The reason that I am calling for this 6.2 item to be pulled is because there has not been an RFP submitted for it for contract, as well as recently the last couple of meetings, there was another contract given without an RFP. So we want to hold you all
I do
accountable.
apologize.
I'm speaking.
6.2 is not that. 6.2 is donations. Are you sure you're speaking on the right item? 6.2 is acceptance of donations to the Stockton Unified School District.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next comment card is from Ms. Sylvia Cantu regarding item 10.4.
I spoke last board meeting because Trustee Rico wasn't here and she had concerns on the PAC. And you said you read the bylaws. Under membership, section 3, members shall serve on the PAC annually. Members' applications are to be submitted annually. So either I did request to see if you were a PAC member or not. There will be district staff who are non-voting members to attend on a rotational basis to support the committee. And then when you fill out the application, it stipulates that the purpose of this committee shall be to review, recommend, and advise the district on matters pertaining to the LCAP and LCAP formula, assist in planning, implementation, and evaluation of the LCAP, assist with efforts to make parents aware of the district's policy and procedures relating to the LCAP. So my concern is if you have been going to the PAC as a parent, then you should not be voting as a board member regarding anything on LCAP. Because according to you in the last PAC, you made it clear that you were there as a parent. And that's my point. And as a board, you vote on the LCAP, and there's a lot of jobs regarding.
Do you have proofs that I vote with that?
No, what I'm saying that you said you were a parent. You're supposed to be a board member, not a parent. And also, if you look at the DLAC, according to Board Bylaw 9000, each trustee represents the entire district. You quoted saying, my main focus is special ed. I'm here to help us, not to be scared, ask for help. Then you ask, how many parents are here from my area? I will speak with you. So you only want to deal with the parents from your area. Another time also, Alicia Rico asked if she could approve the minutes. She was told not, as she is not an assigned rep. You also asked, when Dr. Gonzalez was performing, regarding the California dashboard, you asked, what are they doing for the English learners? So even though they identified you as a board member, my point is you can't have it both ways. You can't say I'm a board member, people are disrespecting me. Oh, I'm a parent. Yes, I understand. But as you've been told in that training, you are officially a board member. So my thing is that you've been going to these meetings as a parent. Why would you be voting then? If you're going as a parent, that would be a conflict of interest, because you're basically telling the other parents how to vote and what to suggest. That's all. Thank you very much.
I never vote, to be
Point
clear.
of order, point of order.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming and speaking in favor of your friend.
Next two comment cards are regarding item 6.24. First comment card is for Miss Angela Phillips. Next comment card is for Miss Licia Harrison.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I am here commenting.
We can't hear you. Hold it down.
Can you hear me
Lights
now?
green. Is it
Yeah,
green?
it's green. Yeah. You still can't hear? It's green.
Can you guys turn the volume up in the back?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Test, test.
I can turn around. Okay. I will try to speak as loudly as I can. I'm here for item 6.24. I didn't think that I would actually need to come to this meeting today, but I'm coming in effort to provide clear and accurate information after being informed that
Assess.
About a proposed listening session for some of the students at in the Re-Rise program at Edison High School. In January, on the 11th, I sent an email to Therese Muhammad stating that I was following up on a phone call and I wanted to provide more information with regard to the listening session, which is part of the 3-year statewide work with the California Pan-Ethnic Network and the California Black Health Network. Doing so under the supervision of the Mental Health Services Oversight and Accountability Commission. I am a licensed clinical social worker. I've been a social worker for almost 20 years. I provide services in this community to the Office of Violence Prevention, the Pride Center, the Amelia Adams and Adams Whole Life Center, and also to Team Charter. In the purpose of the listening session, really focusing on BIPOC youth, because I am a mental health professional, is to hear from students how they are feeling about their mental health, how they feel about accessing services, what types of things might engage them in accessing services if they are not. There's been a significant rise since the pandemic of students experiencing depression and anxiety. I've been privy to this, having worked at behavioral health and the crisis department doing evaluations on youth. So I was really surprised that there would be opposition to this. And I'm really surprised that the opposition would come from an employee of this school district, who I truly do not understand why he is employed with this school district if he is not in support of services that would be beneficial to students, especially those students who've been identified as Tier 3 students. So that is why I'm here. I know one of the things that was commented was this was last minute, being rushed, and that in fact is not true. I had spoken with Brandon Duncan, who I believe is an assistant vice principal at Edison High School, who informed me that this item would be on the board agenda on February 14th. That did not happen. Then I was told it was going to be on the agenda for the 28th. That apparently.
Thank you.
Now it's my 3 minutes. That didn't happen. But I was.
Trustees, do you approve to?
Yes.
Give Ms. Phillips this time to Ms. Harrison?
Yes, but we just
Big
want to
mic.
make sure the mic is ready for you now. Please, yes. Which one?
Test.
Thank you all for your patience.
Okay, can everyone hear me now? Okay, thank you. So what in fact happened is it was not on the agenda. I received a text message advising me that it would be on the agenda for the 28th. Then I was informed on the 29th that the board had in fact rejected this listening session. I reached out and made a call to ask, why it had been rejected, to see what needed to be done so that it would be approved. Then I was informed that it had never been an agenda item. So imagine my surprise of being advised by personnel from this district that it had been rejected when in fact it had not even ever been a board item. So I was in a meeting last week on last Thursday and shared these concerns. I was asked to sign a form. Apparently, I don't believe that Mr. Duncan understood the process of what needed to happen to have this made a board agenda item. That document was emailed to me on last Thursday. I signed it immediately and returned it. And so here we are today with 209 Times presenting this as offering massages for students, for male students, let me be accurate, which is something they never are. So in the letter, because this is for mental well-being and mental wellness, I had stated that one of the things that we had thought about, did not say what would happen, is perhaps having chair massages if permissible. That is something that is not happening. So I'm here today to state that what will happen is students will be provided lunch. They will be provided swag boxes that have something for each one of our 5 senses. They will be provided a gift card for their participation. That's what this is about. They will be in small breakout sessions with staff from CPEN as note takers to discuss 5 or 6 pre-selected questions. That's what this is about. They will be given information, giveaway cards for the suicide and crisis hotline. They will be given some information about statistics on mental health as it affects Black and brown youth. That's what this is. Do people have questions about that? I don't know how this is harming kids, but I am really fed up with the constant disinformation from this garbage website affecting students and people in general. Motec likes to target people that he has his personal grievances with, and here we are.
Ms. Harrison, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and it's free.
Test.
Next comment card is from Mr. Jerry Gonzalez regarding item 6.22, 13.1, 13.3, and 14.1.
Good evening, Jerry Gonzalez, Stockton resident, Stockton Unified alum. So
Wait,
I'll
Jerry, sorry, pause time for him, please. Can everybody hear him still? Yeah, good. Okay, we just
Okay.
want to make sure you could be heard.
I could speak louder. So, for item 622, I just needed, hopefully to get some clarification because it has a cost for 57 persons at 16,970. But then there's attachment that has a ton of schools and hundreds of students. So I just don't understand, is it serving hundreds of students or is it serving 57 students to be selected out of all of these school campuses? That's my only question. With regard to 13.1, I am totally in favor of looking to eliminate some of these positions, especially ones that were created at a time when we had Ramirez in as superintendent and didn't follow any of the policies of this board or this district. Likewise for 13.3, 14.1, I believe it is the interim budget. And my only comment is on the slide presentation. I'm just a layperson, so I can't really follow all of this, but I couldn't really see where there was a total summary of fiscal year 22, 23, 24, 25, or, like that, so that we could see if there's a balance there at the bottom line, or are we in the deficit? It was really difficult to follow. So hopefully we get some clarification on that. That is all. Thank you.
Trustees, this concludes public comment for item 5.1. Thank you.
Moving on to item 5.2, which is oral suggestions. And Abby will announce the number of non-agenda item public comments and request each person to provide their public comment in the order they were received. Christina will be the timekeeper.
Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. Trustees, we currently have 6 comment cards regarding item 5.2. First 2 cards are regarding negotiations. First speaker is Edgar Valdez.
Good evening, President Flores, Vice President Stevens, Board of Trustees. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you. I am Edgar Valdez, and I am here to support and advocate for CSEA 821 members. I am a member of the Negotiations Committee representing maintenance and operations. We have had over 20 negotiation dates in which we have not been able to come to an agreement on health and welfare or salary. In the last 5 of these meetings, we have been told by the district that we can expect to discuss these topics. We have only been met with excuses. This gives our members a lack of confidence in the district's intent. Our members are hardworking individuals to take on additional duties to ensure our students have a safe learning environment. But with skilled labor salaries far below industry standards, it is hard to maintain good morale. The district's mission statement reads, "Our mission is to graduate every student college, career, and community ready. In doing so, we lift all youth out of circumstances of poverty and scarcity." How does the district expect to do so when their own employees are being paid at or below poverty level? Benefits have increased, and the district has started deducting the increase from the members' salaries prior to negotiation with the membership, which creates hardship on members and leaving them to have to decide whether to be insured or support their families. I would also like to add that these employees are essential in making sure our school sites and district buildings run smoothly and efficiently so that our students and staff are safe. They go above and beyond and deserve wages that align with the cost of living. I call upon you to ensure a fair contract and provide a livable salary for employees. Thank you. I'd also like to thank the guys for sticking around and staying.
Next comment card is from Ms. Lola Yanez.
Good evening. Thank you, President Flores and board members for the opportunity to address this crucial item. I am Lola Yanez, and on behalf of CSEA 821 members, I am speaking in hopes to appeal to the board for support in our negotiations with SUSD. You're all well aware of the rate of pay has remained stagnant and benefit premiums have increased, which has impacted the morale of the workforce throughout the district and affects performance and productivity, leaving us feeling undervalued. We are asked to perform extra job duties, which we do without question. When was the last time SUSD reviewed our job descriptions? It's only fair we be compensated for the work we do. The current pay fails to align with our job responsibilities. We are being shortchanged not only in wages, but in promotions and from lack of support from administration. Why haven't negotiations for a fair contract been resolved, even after having over 20 negotiation meetings? Is the district unwilling to reach an agreement for their lack of preparation, lack of communication, or is the district interested in a take it or leave it method? Our 821 members go above and beyond, taking on additional responsibility, challenging situations, and wear different hat according to the circumstances. Inflation is at an all-time high, and employees are effectively being paid less, with rising costs of health benefits, housing, groceries, and everyday expenses. SUSD has already started deducting a higher premium for our health benefits prior to reaching any agreement and did not allow our members an opportunity for input. We expect to be treated fairly and compensated as valued employees and anticipate SUSD will provide a fair contract. Thank you.
Thank you. Next comment card is from Ms. Gloria Allen regarding herself.
Thank you all for coming.
Press the button and hold it while you talk.
Push. Yes. Can you hear me now? Good evening, everyone. My name is Gloria Allen, and I served on Stockton Unified School District Board of Education from 2008 up until 2017. And in my tenure on the board, I tried to be fair, firm, and consistent with everyone concerned. I received an email or a text from someone talking about a particular board member, which I don't do that. And everyone knows that when we left the board, there was a reserve of $26 million. There was a $45 million in the budget. We also left a $40,000 monies for the administration building. So we left you in good standing. This person is saying something about me that I don't believe I'm that way. They said once hired by former board president Gloria Allen and former superintendent Julie Penn. And first thing, I don't do any hiring and I don't do any firing except for the superintendent. Let's make this very clear. So I just came here tonight to tell people, whoever wrote this article about me and what I did, they said, oh, it wasn't bad. I just don't want my name mentioned in any way, shape, or form, because I don't have an opinion about this board. All I know, as the board that I served on, we were a united front because we kept children first. Kids comes first, and that was my motto, and that's what I stand by. So this article, I don't know if it was 209 Times or who it was, but I'm just here to make it a matter of record. Please keep Gloria Allen's name out of your mouth, good, bad, or indifferent, because I don't have any more ties to Stockton Unified School District. And I love this district and I did the best that I could. So just if anyone brings me up, tell them, listen, leave her out of that, because I do have an attorney waiting in the wings. Thank you.
Thank you. Next comment is from Ms. Elena Gibbons regarding celebrating Chinese program at Chavez High School.
You gotta push the button. There we, and hold, yeah, and hold it.
I hold it the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay. Woo. Good evening, President Flores and Vice President Stevens. My name is Elena Gibbons. I'm an English department chair at Chavez, and I teach AP Literature, and I also teach 2 ELD2 classes. I'm also a proud new mentor of the fabulous induction program we have here in the district. Although I'm happy, very happy to have learned that the Chinese program has been reinstated for next year. And I want to personally thank all the board members and all the district officials who listened to the student voices and the teacher voices that were communicating to you the importance of this situation. We are still left with a very uncomfortable feeling about our school and about the fact that the program was singled out for cancellation and that we don't really understand why. Currently, there's a feeling from many of us teachers at Chavez that our leadership is still struggling to listen to student and teacher voice. I've been told that our counselors at Chavez have already been to all our 8th grader feeder schools. And so that all the 8th graders, over 500 of them, have already registered for all their classes, and they have not been given the opportunity to sign up for Chinese 1. And so although now it is on the registration form, it is a little too late for so many students. Also, our current 9th, 10th, and 11th graders have already registered. So although, again, we have added now Chinese 3 and to Chinese 1 for those students, many of them will struggle to understand how I can re-register or ask my counselor how I can fix that mistake that was made. So today I wrote an email again to the administration asking them for more specifics about what is going to be done to rectify this egregious error that was made on their part. I implore you, the board members, and also district officials to closely monitor the situation to make sure that the 8th graders are informed that they can register for Chinese 1 by mail, by a Google form, some way that there needs to be direct communication to all of those kids who were basically, weren't given the right to sign up for the language of their choice. And I guess finally, I'm just imploring, that's all. More specifically, I can only hope going forward that the leadership at my school will communicate with more specificity and integrity than we've seen in the last couple months. And I thank you again for all of your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next comment card is from Ms. Sylvia Cantu regarding superintendent search firm.
Okay, this board sells its employees and its community that believes in transparency and accountability. If you'll notice additional information, you'll see some highlights. This is from the search firm that you chose. And one of the former presidents, this was under the firm that was under her, so I don't know about RFP. But the 5 highlighted, these are previous clients and employees of SUSD. You have Miss Nicole Anderson, who was under Dr. Dacey, and you'll see the agenda item. This was brought in the year 2019, 2020, and it says board members. She even trained board members. Then you'll see where it says Dr. Reyes Gauna, retired. He is not retired. He is a superintendent in Patterson. Then you have Dr. Shelley Jones Holt. That was another consultant under Dacey. Then you have Dr. Michelle Huntoon, superintendent. She was actually our CBO. Then you have Dr. Stephen Lauder, retired superintendent. I know if someone gave a 5 out of 5 and said they were one of the best and she did the search, it was just under the attachment. It was right there. I'm not blaming the firm because it was right there, but I just wanted people to be aware that you have 5 previous clients and employees going to pick the next SUSD superintendent. think about that. Also, I wanted to mention how some board members, about 3 of you, that you like to work in cahoots, if you want to use that word, was 2 social medias. We had one apparently say, meanwhile, Flores and her cronies will be targeting the jobs. And this was one board member commented, I don't know if you're worried about President Flores and her cronies, including some teachers are doing and laughing about the way 2 Spanish speaker board members speak English during the meeting. And because I attend this meeting, I'm a teacher, I took this, of course, to my CTA lawyer ever since I was running a complaint. Also, I felt that some people talk about bullying. There was one that I felt was kind of racist. This was regarding Vice President Stevens. She owes a lot of favors and money, contracts to pay back the unions and Don Shelby, who's her master. Now, I remind you that Don Shelby's Caucasian and Vice President Kenitha Stevens is African-American. Then it says, is Stevens and Flores going to promote terrible teacher and big mouth Sylvia Cantu and reward her for her treachery? Well, let me put it this way. I don't care what you say, but when you spell my name correctly, it is spelled S-I-L-V-I-A, not S-Y. My mom took a lot of time to spell my name. So please, if you're going to write about me, spell my name correctly. And of course, they said the vote was going to be 4-3. How do you know that some of these votes are 4-3? Anyways, thank you for your time.
Next comment card is for Mr. Jerry Gonzalez regarding miscellaneous.
Good evening, I'm back. This podium table, I think, is not compliant with the ADA. It's a pain in the ass. So if you would please do something to improve this situation here, that would be great.
Can we bring it back, the podium back? Next meeting, we'll bring the podium back.
Thank you. So a few weeks ago, we had new board members on board. Things seemed like they were going pretty good. Tone was nice, but I guess the honeymoon's over. And some of these antics that have been happening these last couple of days, especially on social media, are really sickening. So I also noticed there's a missing administrator that was here at this table, like she was missing last meeting, and maybe she's gone now, Francine Baird. Speaking of Francine Baird, I read today on social media, there's a possibility she was involved with allowing the use of Stockton Unified property for parking by the Stockton Arena. I sure hope that's not true, but if it is, I hope the IRS catches up with these people and takes them down. You can go beyond San Joaquin County District Attorney, you can go beyond other local law enforcement. Let the tax man take them down. That's what I say. As far as residency of school board members, I think you all know that you're supposed to be living in the district where you are representing, and I hope that is the case. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Trustees, this concludes public comments for item 5.2. However, I did receive 2 comment cards for item 5.1. Do you accept them?
Yes.
Okay, next 2 cards are regarding item 13.3. First comment card is from Mr. Victor Garcia.
I'm actually speaking for my brother from CSEA 318, and that's Daniel Franco. He would be here to make this statement. I'm actually impressed with him. I'm very proud of him in terms of what he wants to say. So I just want to lay out his statement. Good evening. My name is Daniel Franco. I am the ELOP facilitator at Hazelton Elementary. I'm here tonight to speak on item 13.3, which is to say I am here to speak about layoffs. Normally, I view layoffs as a negative. However, in this case, I think it is the best course of action for our district, as some of these positions were funded by one-time ESSER funding, which is not a sustainable practice. If any of these positions should return, I would hope that they are brought back with the appropriate funding. This is not the only reason I am in favor of this agenda item. Anyone who is paying attention to the ongoing political circus within our district is aware of who our Director of Family Resources is and that individual's connection to the Stockton's very own tabloid internet blog 209 Times. After witnessing the press conference held by 209 Times yesterday, it is clear to me that this individual will take any steps necessary to defame and attack anyone who opposes him. And his enablers, collaborators, and positions of power, you know who you are, and so does the public. I could stand here and feed into this toxic divisiveness by being reactionary and insulting this individual and his internet blog. However, one of the first things I learned as a paraprofessional educator is that when you are dealing with children, it is better to be preventative than it is to be reactionary. For this reason, I am proposing that once the Family Resource Center is under new leadership, the district should offer parents and students a free media literacy course with the following goals and outcomes. 1, parents and students can identify yellow journalism bias in the media. 2, parents and students are capable of researching who is funding and supporting the content. 3, parents and students can identify news sources and the least amount of bias and or more ethical in their approach. While the issue is prevalent in our local, while the issue is prevalent in our local arena, there is also a larger problem of students ever increasingly being bombarded by extremist content online. As an after-school facilitator, I am constantly challenging students to question content from the likes of, to question the contents from the likes of Andrew Tate, Matt Walsh, and of course the 209 Times. I believe we can do more as educators to stop bad actions from, to stop bad actions from colonizing the minds of our students. And I'm willing and ready to do anything I can to assist in this process. Thank you all for your time and attention.
And last comment card is from Mr. Christopher Torres regarding item 13.3.
Push the button.
Hello, can you hear me? Thank you. I'd like to share something I wrote. Well, good evening. My name is Mr. Christopher Torres. I'm a teacher here in Stockton Unified. I would like to start by reminding everyone in this room and those watching online that we stand on native land. This is how land acknowledgements often begin, seemingly performative, and less so actionable. I would also like to remind you that Native American Indian identity is not just a racial identity, it is a distinct legal status tied to sovereignty and relationships between the United States and American Indian tribal nations. Stockton is on the land of the Miwok and Yokuts indigenous peoples. How are you choosing to honor them? The following is from an email I sent to the board as well as to Superintendent Tracy Miller. I am writing you in regards to agenda item 13.3 in support of Destiny Rivas, the coordinator of the Native American Indian Center, whose position is being considered for layoff. I have known Destiny for 5 years now, and I've seen time and time again the passion she has for our students and community. She is one of the hardest working people I know and is always working with students and families to provide them with essential resources and services, as well as opportunities to get involved with community events. She facilitates the Native American Indian Center's Parent-Student Advisory Committee, of which I am also a member, and she organized countless community events, leaving a lasting impact, a lasting positive impact that deserves recognition. This includes cultural classes and annual events for SUSD, such as the Winter Gathering, the Spring Gathering, the Native American graduation ceremony, and other community events such as the annual Stockton Powwow. Destiny is a pillar in our community that students, families, and teachers such as myself look up to. In 2021, she and other community members met with Mayor Kevin Lincoln to officially recognize October 11th as Indigenous Peoples' Day in Stockton. This was an enormous victory in terms of Native representation in Stockton, given California's history of settler colonialism and genocide, which nearly wiped out the Native population off the map. Yet the Native population in Stockton is strong, and with the work that Destiny does with the Native American Indian Center, is a major, the work that she does with the Native American Indian Center is a major contributor to that strength. In fact, prior to this notice, Destiny had acquired a $40,000 grant for a summer program that would teach students about water sovereignty and stewardship. As a teacher in Stockton Unified, I've always felt proud that we have a Native American Indian Center, something that many other school districts don't have, because it's a space where Native families are able to come together and heal from the effects of settler colonialism that are still harming our Native community to this day. However, I believe that cutting the coordinator position is a step backward and will be a disservice to our students and families and the families that we serve. Therefore, I urge you with all due respect, please reconsider cutting this position. And I will close reminding you once again that we are on Native land. How will you choose to honor its original inhabitants? Thank you.
Trustees, this concludes public comment cards for items 5.1 and 5.2. Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. Moving on to item 6.1, which is approval of the consent items, and Abby will read the oral announcement.
Does any trustee have any item they would like removed for separate consideration as an action item? After any items are removed for separate consideration, there will be a vote on the consent items without any discussion.
Yes, Madam President.
Go ahead.
Yes, I would like to move 624 so we can talk about it for discussion.
You want to pull it for discussion?
Yes.
Trustee Rico? Pulling it for discussion or action item?
For discussion.
Discussion.
Madam President, can we repeat that on the microphone for record, please?
There's a motion to pull 6.24 for discussion. And it was motioned by trustee Mendez and seconded by trustee Rico.
Yes, I do have some few questions.
Also, I want to pull 13.3 for discussion.
It's only 6. Okay, can I get a motion to approve consent item 6.1 with the pulling of 6.24 for discussion?
I'll do the motion.
I second.
Open for discussion. Go ahead, trustee Mendez.
Yes, I understand what she means, and people were a lot of publicity in this. I did receive several, I'm not gonna lie, some teachers that were concerned that they're looking in also in their money for them, and they say that they can help the kids. And I understand,
Trustee
and I
Mendez, I believe the
understand.
public is having trouble hearing you.
Which one? You cannot hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay. It was because she talked about publicity. It's about I'm talking about 6.24. We're in the correct place?
Right. What's your question about the contract?
The question about the contract is some teachers that were concerned about the massage. Is any way we can bring it back a little bit more cleaner? And that way for the next agenda, and if we clean that area, that will be, some people don't question that.
So she's already stated that she's not going to have that. It's already done.
Yeah, but it's the way that we are proving it is the way that it's here. I would like to write it down in writing. I think that we can wait a little bit to make it clear. I don't want the teachers think that I'm not doing my part either. Everybody, they give us opinions.
So
and I
can
want to
you
do the thing
email
right.
us the teachers' names that you spoke with, please?
I cannot say the name, like you never review names. I can't review names, you know
Okay,
that.
thank you.
I want to be honest.
Anybody else got anything to say? So I just want to clarify some items. I would like to ask Dr. Miller to please talk to her staff in regards to contracts that come forward, that our staff is aware that this board leadership is going to start tracking down the leaks of information that's going into the community. This should never have reached the levels of 209 times website completely, period. This is a school site issue. This is something that was worked out with the teacher and the vice principal, Brandon Duncan, who spoke highly of this program. And so there was already motions to go forward. And another thing that I don't appreciate is when staff go back and they tell people that the board rejected it or the board made the decision. If it was not put on the agenda, the board did not have no clue or no idea. So please refrain from using the board as an excuse to not provide the services or the promises that staff has made to do.
Madam President, may I have the microphone again?
Go ahead.
It's regarding something like that, because also I'm gonna be very honest right here. Everybody are talking about transparency. When these people called me, they were very concerned. They said, and this was not brought up to ST8, to the president of ST8, or to the leadership of ST8 to kind of look into it, how it's gonna affect the children. If these people, how we know they have a background. I'm being honest here with you guys. And I even know about this contract before. So what this lady came and said, board rejected it. We didn't know nothing. We didn't know nothing about this contract. We didn't know what was going on. So I'm glad and, things are been coming to the open, but also I want to tell you, I never get involved with the staff. I never come and tell staff what to do, anything like that. Some people have the impression that I do that. I don't do that. I don't even know about this contract, and I respect XTA and I respect the leadership of STA. So I want to make it clear. I want to really make it clear. I will appreciate it if we can bring it back, clean up, and everything be fine, and make sure then our children are going to be safe. Then I don't have teachers calling me and say, oh, children, how do we know that these people, they have a background? They're calling me for things, and it scare me. It scare me. And also they work for the district. And then my parents, two parents did call me. They got two calls from two parents, and I'm very concerned. And these are taxpayers also, and they're concerned. So I want to tell the truth here. I want to be honest. People don't want to like what I say, but I don't like when people are going to call me and accuse me, come and accuse me here, things that we not even do.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Mendez. We heard you. Okay, so we discussed it now.
President Flores, I believe the appropriate approach would be to vote on the items 1 through 20, as is, and vote on 624 separately, because it was considered separately by, or requested to be pulled by the by Trustee Mendez.
Okay, so can we vote for 624 first, since we've already are discussing it, or do we wait till after we vote for the others?
I would go with the original.
Okay.
And then vote the 624 separately.
Okay, so can I get a motion?
Oh, so just one question. So what was the proposed date? I didn't see the proposed date. Was it for March 9th?
Okay, can I get a motion to approve items 6.1 to 6.23?
I'll do the motion.
Second, Stevens.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
President Flores,
Yes.
Vice President Stevens,
Yes.
Clerk Colon,
Yes.
Trustee Danair,
Yes.
Trustee Danair,
Yes.
Trustee Mendez,
Yes.
Trustee Mendez,
She said yes.
Yes.
Trustee Rico,
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Hey, motion to approve item 6.24. Can I get a motion?
Motion, I motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Donald Dinner. We already had discussion, so roll call vote, please.
President Flores,
Yes.
Vice President Stevens,
Yes.
Clerk Colon,
Yes.
Trustee Danair,
Yes.
Trustee Mendez,
We are approving it the way.
Just
that
vote,
applies-
please. Yes, it's a yes or no.
Yes.
Trustee Rico,
No.
Trustee Zulueta,
Yes.
motion passes 6-1. With a no vote from Trustee Rico.
Moving on to item 7.1. Report inductions programs full accreditation result from their accreditation visit. Ms. Yulene Aisa, Director of Curriculum and Professional Development.
I pushed the button. I got that. Hopefully I'll remember to keep it pushed. Good evening, Board President, Board Trustees, and Dr. Miller. Thank you for the opportunity to bring this information forward to the board for our celebration of our induction program. I wanted to bring to your attention that within the curriculum department, we have the induction program, and the induction program consists of our induction manager, Ms. Lori Goldstein, two program specialists, Kate Rockstad and Maisha Davis. Can we go forward? Thank you. So this mighty department of 3 is responsible for providing professional development, training, mentorship, and guidance for all of our new teachers who are seeking to clear their preliminary credentials. It is a huge undertaking, and the fact that our district has their own committee and induction department that is able to provide those clearances to recommend those teachers to the Commission on Teacher Credentialing is a really wonderful recruitment and retention tool that we have in our district. So if you go forward, sorry. Thank you. So just as you may be aware that our high schools go through a WASC accreditation every 6 years, the induction department and their accreditation goes through a review at least every 7 years. And so for this review, they conducted a number of interviews with all stakeholders, including site administration, mentors, past inductee members, curriculum specialists, and teachers that are currently in the program to determine how the program is running. And they gave us a full, 40-page document report, but I just wanted to pull out just one of the quotes from the interviews that they had, that the team's quick accessibility to teachers, mentors, and leaders is a strength of the program. The 3 people at the heart of the program are consistent and committed. There are layers of support, and they are the anchors. And so I wanted to congratulate them yet again. And they received, we received the highest accreditation possible, a 7-year full accreditation with 0 findings. So again, I would like the ladies to please come forward for their recognition. And just as a side note, this induction department that has been led by Ms. Lori Goldstein for a number of years has actually been an induction program that has served as a mentor for neighboring districts. So it is really quite the feather in our cap, this department that we have and the program that they run. Thank you.
Moving on to item 10.1, which is board committee reports, and Abby will read the oral announcement and announce each board committee for a report.
This is the opportunity to hear any reports from board committees, specifically regarding prior or upcoming committee meetings. There will be a 3-minute limit per report. First committee meeting is City of Stockton Parks and Rec by Trustee Donald Donaire.
I have no updates.
Thank you. Next committee, San Joaquin County School Boards Association Executive Committee by Trustee Donald Donaire.
I shared last board meeting that I'm going to be partaking in the CSBA's Legislative Action Week. I'm going to be learning a lot of the policies that are happening right now on the California State Capitol, just to see how we can advocate for the students on behalf of Stockton Unified.
Thank you. Next committee is 3x3 Committee by Clerk Sofia Colon.
Nothing to report. We have an upcoming meeting at the end of the month.
Thank you. Next committee is 1852 Foundation Committee by Vice President Stevens.
Same here, no new update, but just look forward to your invitation to our April 13th fundraiser.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 10.2, which is brief reports on trustees' activities. And we will go ahead and start from my left, Trustee Mendez.
Can you hear me? We have an event. Parents called me about the event in San Joaquin, but I was in a little meeting with the CSBA. Some of the members, we have a little meeting just to chat what we're doing in the school and everything. But the parent informed me about San Joaquin School having an after-school event, and they have lots of fun. They had jumpers and they have little things, and they were very happy. I'm very sorry that I could not be there, but I was on the phone with, with the leadership, with the people that I communicate, with updates for CSBA. Also, McKinley is doing great. The parents are very happy. It seems to be that the homeless are staying away a little bit, and that's a good news. And that's all what I have to report right now. Thank you, and thank you for everybody to come in today to this meeting. Thank you.
Trustee Zulueta.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Just a few updates. We just got a notice from our PYA administrator saying that we're not going to be moving PYA until after spring break. And I know that community is really upset about that because we've been working really hard for years to try to get them moved. But there's an issue with PG&E, and so they won't be there at the time that we schedule to be able to give the power to the school. And so we're hoping that within a few weeks after spring break that we're going to get that taken care of. But I got to go check in with Dr. Simone Martinez and just hear a little bit more. But I have been reached out to by quite a few parents who are really concerned about that. Like I said, they've been waiting for years for their new school, and it's really impacting them, and also El Dorado, who they share a campus with currently. And then in addition, I had a chance about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and I wasn't here last week, and I do apologize for that. I had an injury and wasn't able to continue in the meeting, but they had their IB evaluation at PYA, and Mr. Josh Tom actually got to participate in that as well. And it was really awesome just to not only hear about what they're looking for as we move forward with that program, but then also for us to be able to give just some of the bright spots and bright moments, not only from the program, but for the adults and the employees that are working to provide that program, K through 8 IB programs. And it's a really amazing thing for our community, especially in the area 4 that I'm in. And then I've been spending some time over at Victory and Madison, and we're still having a lot of trouble with just making sure that we have as many staff members as we need for the play time. So like recess, lunch recess, a lot of those just times where our students need a little bit more support. And so if there are any parents out there or community members that are looking for opportunities, we could sorely use you, especially over at Victory. And then Madison, they got a lot going on. They do not have a playground at this point because of the new building that was built. And so while we really appreciate the new building, we're hoping that, there can be some advances on, the playground, because there's a lot of sped students and other students who they don't have the space that they're accustomed to. And it's really putting a strain on the staff over there. Thank you all for listening, and thank you for being here tonight.
Trustee Rico?
Good evening. Nothing to report. I try to bring the report the next meeting, and I try to practice my English better because I don't want nobody laugh about my way I speak English. So thank you.
Vice President Stevens?
Sure. So I probably want to first just begin with the theme of our superintendent search. We know there's a lot of excitement about moving forward. I want to honor Dr. Miller's role as superintendent and kind of driving this ship forward. I don't know if she's going to throw her hat in the ring, but we are certainly moving forward. We already have been receiving information from the community asking how they can be a part of the search process. What can they do? How are we going to go about it? So we do have a superintendent's search subcommittee that'll be coming forward. You all will get information about how we are going to solicit feedback from our community. We do want to make sure that you all are a part of it. Our parents, our families, our teachers, our unions, all of our staff. We want to make sure that we get the right person behind the helm of this ship so that we can continue to drive it forward. And the second piece, I just want to lift up safety. No board member should have to be in fear of driving home at nighttime. I just want to make sure that we kind of send the message of safety. And that's for our staff too. No one should be following anybody home to see where they live. That's kind of a weird practice. Our role is just to be me and to do me, but not to sneak and lurk and follow behind Trustee Flores. Really bad behavior. It won't be tolerated. We're all going to support her at the board level to make sure that she gets the resources and support that she needs to feel safe as our board president. The next theme I just want to lift up is that we're just thankful for all of you coming out and speaking and just being a support. We have a lot of good work that's happening at the district level, and we want to thank you and honor you all for the work that you do, for the late nights, for staying here at the last board meeting until 11 p.m. We know that it's a lot. And to Dr. Miller, we know that you have a lot of tough days. And we honor you for your work and your commitment and to showing up every single day, leading this particular ship. So thank you for the work that you do. And I just want to honor your presence as our superintendent.
Thank you, Vice President Stevens. And I wrote something. They're following me home. And with me, that's fine. I'll take it. But what they're doing is they're going to my parents' homes and they're going into their gate and they're trying to get into my parents' homes. So with that being said, I wrote something and I wrote it in Spanish. So I hope that my board will allow me to also translate in Spanish when I'm done. Dear friends, since coming into office and into the president's chair, my colleagues and I on the board have been proud of the rapid work we have done to ensure that our students can get back on track. We have made significant progress in a short amount of time, and we are committed to continuing to improve our district for the benefit of our students, staff, and stakeholders. It is important to remember that there is much more to uncover in the name of transparency. In fact, we have uncovered hundreds of thousands of misused dollars at Stockton Unified. We pledge to go where the evidence takes us, rein in on corruption, and work with our law enforcement partners at the local, state, and federal levels to ensure that this does not happen again. I would also like to take this time to address the fellow fact finders in our community. Thank you for ensuring integrity in our community's leaders. I am confident that my residents' information checks out. Finally, I am allowed to visit my loved ones in peace and without interference from prowlers or questionable actors. I remain committed to serving our community with integrity and transparency. I am confident that facts will guide the day and inspire those who want to see our community build a better future for our kids. They deserve nothing less. Thank you for your continued confidence and trust in me and in our tireless SUSD staff and county election officials. So, Mr. Jerry, I live where I live, but I'm allowed to have a relationship and visit where I want when I can. And now I'm going to say this in Spanish. And so, Spanish speaking parents, please bear with me as I am practicing my Spanish once again. Queridos amigos, desde que asumí el cargo y asumí la silla de presidenta, mis colegas de la mesa directiva y yo nos hemos sentido orgullosos del rápido trabajo que hemos realizado para garantizar que nuestros estudiantes pueden volver a encariarse. Hemos logrado un progreso significado en un corto periodo de tiempo y estamos comprometidos a continuar mejorando nuestro distrito para el beneficio de nuestros estudiantes, personal y comunidad. Es importante recordar que hay mucho más por descubrir en nombre de la transparencia. De hecho, hemos descubierto cientos de miles de dólares, you guys get, right? Dólares malversados en Stockton Unified. Nos comprometemos a ir a donde nos lleve la evidencia, frenar la corrupción y trabajar con nuestros socios encargados de hacer cumplir la ley a nivel local, estatal y el federal para garantizar que esto no va a volver a suceder. También gustaría aprovechar de este momento para dirigirme a otros investigadores de nuestra comunidad. Gracias por asegurar la integridad de los líderes de nuestra comunidad. Confío en que la información de mi residencia se verifique. Francamente, si me permita visitar a mis seres queridos en paz y sin la interferencia de merodeadores o actores cuestionables. Sigo comprometida a servir a nuestra comunidad con integridad y transparencia. Confío en que los hechos guíen el día de inspirar a aquellos que quieren ver a nuestra comunidad construir un futuro mejor para nuestros niños. No se merecen menos. Gracias por su continua confianza en mí, en nuestro incansable personal de SUSD y en los funcionarios electorales del condado. Estoy diciendo que yo sí vivo en mi casa, pero yo puedo tener una vida y tener una relación y yo puedo ir donde yo quiero, cuando yo quiero. Over to you, Trustee Cologne, Clerk Cologne.
So can everyone hear me okay? So this week is SUSD See Something, Say Something Week. Our Schools Plus peer leaders uniting students will promote safe schools and how to report issues. And I commend our counseling department and our youth for this initiative and for learning how to speak out. Today in particular is Trusted Adult Tuesday, and most of the people in this room are adults. Can I trust you? Can I trust you with our youth? Can you trust me? As we work together to rebuild our district, we need trusted adults. Our youth will practice saying these words. Thank you for being my trusted adult. I know you are someone I can turn to if I ever need help. If I see or hear something that might be a warning sign, I promise to tell you. This is what our youth is learning to say. Can they say that to you? Can they say this to our board leadership? From our youths all the way to the board leadership, we should be able to hear those words, to say those words. The adult's response should be, and this is part of what we're supposed to practice as adults, I promise to listen. I promise to be open-minded. I promise to be your advocate. You should expect to hear that statement from each adult on this board, from leadership on through your school campuses. So I'm taking this day, Trusted Adult Tuesday, to heart, and I urge you all to as well.
Trustee Danair?
I want to share, can y'all hear me? Okay, I want to share my school site visits that I had over the past few weeks. I went to Hazleton again the second time, finally met with Principal Leonardis and many other staff members. Went to visit their schoolyards and seen their facilities. There's a lot of issues that I want to bring up, but I first want to talk to the folks that I need to talk to first so that I can advocate better in that way. Secondly, I'm excited to be visiting SECA for the first time tomorrow. I'm going to be meeting with Principal Pafford. I'm really excited to see the school for the first time. I also want to remind folks that the Area 5 is going to have a community conversation on March 29th, 5:30 at Weber Tech. This space, from what I understand, started because of the town halls that didn't happen in the last year because of the grand jury reports. I'm really hoping that community members can show out, parents, students. I'm also anticipating a conversation around safety in this community conversation. So I'm really excited. Hope that you can tell folks who are students, parents, teachers in Area 5, staff members as well. So really excited for that March 29th conversation. I also want to comment on social media and the impacts that a particular social media platform has. It's a real disgrace and a disservice to people who actually are harmed by sexual assault, are harmed by sexual abuse, to pretend that we actually care for those people who have been harmed in that way, and weaponizing that to attack community members, teachers, and other folks who really care about the district, who really care about people who experience sexual assault, sexual abuse. So I really want to commend those who have spoken today and really stood up to the continued embarrassment that this district has. So I'm really excited to see where these conversations go and making sure that our district is held accountable.
Moving on to item 10.3, the approval to update appointment of trustees to the ad hoc subcommittee. Can I get a motion, please?
Motion Stevens.
Second.
Any discussion?
Who seconded? I'm sorry.
Vice
Sophia.
President Stevens? Oh,
Cologne.
Cologne.
Trustee Cologne.
Thank you.
And for those, it is the Transformative Justice Committee. It was formerly assigned to Vice President Stevens, and now it's going to be given and assigned over to Clerk Cologne. So thank you for taking that on, Trustee Clerk Cologne. Roll call vote?
President Flores,
Yes.
Vice President Stevens,
Yes.
Clerk Colon,
Yes.
Trustee Danair,
Yes.
Trustee Mendez, Trustee Rico,
I'm staying.
trustee Zulueta,
Yes.
motion passes 6-0 with one abstention from trustee Rico.
Moving on to item 10.4, adhering to board member roles and responsibilities. Can I get a motion?
A motion.
It's for discussion. Can we get a discussion?
I motion.
A motion, discussion.
Okay. You want? Diane, do you want to start us off?
Certainly, you just went through a training, at least the first half of training last Saturday, provided by CFSBA in terms of governance. You went through your governance handbook. There was agreement on multiple terms that we're going to get back to the board for. I believe the recommendation from Stephen Ladd was that there was going to be execution by the board members to the norms and the protocols that you all have adopted. The second half of the board training was going to continue, which is going to be continuing. I believe President Flores has indicated is going to be scheduled along with CSBA by Keith Bray. General Counsel for CSBA will be performing the services for Brown Act and conflicts of interest. He'll be providing that. He will also, and I believe Mr. Ladd will be discussing the role of the board vis-a-vis the board and the superintendent, and what the importance of adhering to those norms in regards to the duties and responsibilities of not only the board, but also in respect to your superintendent. There was a discussion and I'll just recap briefly. There was also a discussion in regards to participating as trustees participating on parent committees. You all were all present for that, and there was a discussion and certainly a recommendation that came from CSBA at that point in time. There was also a discussion about trustees coming onto campus in terms of following the protocols of the particular site in terms of signing in and when you're on campus, and assuring that you're adhering to those responsibilities as being a visitor on campus, but also there in your role as a trustee. It was a long day for you all. I think it went from 9 o'clock all the way till 3 o'clock. The 3 o'clock. So, but the important part is that you're going to have a second half to this discussion. And it's important for the board as you commit to continue with your commitment to those norms that you are all agreeing to.
Can I have the floor?
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to say it in Spanish because that's my native language. And then I try to do it in English as the statement that Flores did before. Ok, so voy a hablar en nombre como madre primero. He estado asistiendo a estas juntas por muchos años. Por estos pasados 2 años que he sido como miembro de la mesa directiva, he estado asistiendo a esas juntas. Nunca he votado, nunca he hecho ninguna moción. Y a otros, igualmente todos los que estamos aquí como miembros de la mesa hemos asistido a estas juntas. Lo que yo no entiendo es por qué la señora Flores simplemente se tiene que enfocar en mí, porque yo atiendo a esas personas. En esos 18 años que yo he sido miembro o voluntaria de la mesa de las escuelas, de esos comités, nunca había conocido yo a la señora Flores. Ella nunca ha estado con padres. Yo he estado con padres desde hace como 18 años.
Point of order, we're not going to attack other board members on this.
I'm not
dais.
attacking.
Yes, you are. Thank you.
I'm
Stick to the
saying my
point.
statement. So, mi pregunta es nada más. La señora Silvia Cantú también dice, viene y también me ataca. Ok, entiendo. Que quieran que sirva cuando voy a esas juntas como miembro de la mesa directiva, ok, estoy de acuerdo. Pero si ella como maestra viene y dice que tome que vaya como miembro de la mesa directiva y no como madre, ¿cómo puede ser ella maestra cuando le está diciendo a una madre, no solamente ella, muchos de ustedes, deja tus derechos como madre y sirve como miembro de la mesa directiva? No entiendo. ¿Por qué nada más la señora Flores, nada más a mí? ¿Por qué no a ninguna de sus otros amigos? Se enfoca en ellos también de que han ido a esas juntas y no les dice nada. ¿Por qué nada más a mí? Me gustaría que me diera una buena respuesta. ¿Por qué? porque ella sabe que sus padres están conmigo, porque todo el tiempo, por más de 20 años he estado yo con ellos. Y no porque ella venga y me diga no puedes o las mismas leyes me
Okay,
están diciendo no
okay,
puedes,
done.
no lo voy
You
a
say
hacer.
what you had to say. You
Voy
can
a
say it in
seguir.
English now.
So can the translator do it for me? Thank you.
So I'll translate. So what she's saying is that she's been involved with parent groups for the past 20 years, and she wants to know, why am I only singling her out during this process? Paraphrased. That's it?
That's
If
it.
I may-
Okay.
May I
Madam
assist?
President, Madam President, I think that it will be better, Madam President, than a
The
translator.
translator will help me. Okay, go ahead and translate. Go ahead, come up and translate in English what she just said.
You could be up there. Just paraphrase. Ahí. Ajá. No ma-
Sure.
Just paraphrase it. Norma.
No, I can't, no puedo, porque como no soy amiga de ella, no me va a dejar hacerlo.
So I would do a resume of what I heard, and it was, why is it that they're only focusing on myself and they're not focusing on Flores? That's the words that were used. Why I said that as a parent, I can assist to those meetings, and they just want me to be assisting those meetings as a board member. As a teacher coming here saying that I only have to be there as a board member and not as a parent, I don't understand that part. So I'm doing my job. I've been a parent involved with the parents for 20 years. And why is it that they're only coming to me and not everybody else? What is the problem directly towards me? I want a specific answer to that.
I would like
May I
to the
assist
floor-
with the
oh.
response, please? And I believe this was addressed at the CSBA training, and I think it certainly is not directed to one trustee, certainly not trustee Rico, but it's incumbent for all board members to understand your role and responsibilities as both parents and members of this board. What CSBA which is exactly the same advice that I would give. What CSBA is cautioning is that if you are attending parent meetings, you attend that in a role. If you're going to attend parent meetings, you must make clear that you are there not as a member of the board. But the caution is that you do attend, there is a potential of conflict of interest because many items which you hear as on these parent committees may arise in front of the board for which you may vote. That's why they were cautioning that you have to take care when you're at these board meetings in terms of your comments, your participation. And I believe there was a clear recommendation that there should be no commenting in terms of those items specifically for which you would be voting as a board member.
Mhm.
No, really, it's not worth of an applause, but it is simply for us to recognize our roles and responsibilities again as board members.
Thank you, but I don't get the answer that I deserve, that I'm looking for. My question was, why if Mrs. Colon, Mrs. Donaire, Mrs. Stevens, being part of those meetings, why she only came to me and she didn't tell them either?
So one of the issues was that you were there as a parent / board member. I have attended parent advisory committee. I sat there quietly in the room. I didn't talk. I didn't make a comment. I was there to observe parents as they go through their meeting. My role is not to vote. My role is not to give them direction. My role is to be there as support, but I think you had a different role as you sat there in the parent advisory committee. You were there as a parent, as you said, which you are a member of, as you said. So you were trying to lead the parents into things that as a board member, it is a direct conflict of interest. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, I got it. But I never lead those parents. Parents, can you just tell them to the public, did I tell you guys to do whatever you want?
Point of order.
Please.
I'm gonna answer after, I'm gonna allow Clerk Cologne to go ahead and answer, and then I'll answer after.
So first I want to say to Trustee Rico, I appreciate hearing your voice, whether Spanish or English. And just in the beginning, you said that you would speak in Spanish and then English. And I think you should have just said it in English. Having our translator kind of come up and try to paraphrase, but next time, say translator, we'll have the translator with you. We'll just say that ahead of time. So that's one. But aside from that, some of the norms that we talked about on Saturday was to speak honestly and respectfully with transparency to seek understanding and clarify the topic at hand to gain knowledge on the topic. And that's actually a sentence that we wordsmith that sentence. So today we're here, you want clarity, you're asking questions, seeking to understand. I think you've gotten the explanation from our legal and then again from our VP. When you are asking about myself, why haven't I been called out? You actually don't know the conversations that I've had with President Flores. So you don't know if I've been told or not. You actually don't know that. But I'm gonna just say further that I've been reading. I'm newly elected, everyone knows. So I've been reading, I've been learning. I have attended parent meetings, but I haven't attended since because I understand the influence and the impact that I will make being there. Even, and we actually did attend the same meeting once. That was one of my first meetings I went back to attend, and I realized, learning more after that, you know, we're in a different stage. Even though we were parents before we were elected, we're not seen like that. And I even made the comment, like, I'm here as a parent, but they addressed me as Trustee Colon. So it's, even though, like CSBA told us, Dr. Ladd said that day, we could say what we want, but it's the perception and the influence that we have that we need to be mindful of. So I hope going forward that, again, we can have now this understanding of this topic and take the collective responsibility, which was the other norm that we said we would practice.
Thank you, Trustee Colon. I really appreciate your explanation. And yeah, another thing that you brought to my mind right now. Trustee Flores addressed you by yourself. Okay. But what the issue here is that she addressed me in public.
Okay, point of order. I'm going to answer your question.
That's a big difference between you and me, my situation. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so this is why I addressed the issue regarding Trustee Rico, because I have received several concerns from other parents within the parent group who are afraid to attend these parent meetings with the parents that are in that group right now, because they are receiving text messages from Trustee Rico to rally them up and give them wrong information to come to these meetings and cause a chaotic disruption. These parents are afraid to come forward. These parents no longer want to attend meetings with this point of order. I'm speaking, you asked a question, I'm answering it. So these parents have text messages from Alicia. There are other parents who are going to other parents' houses to also rally parents up. And this is causing chaos and fear at our school sites and with other parents, and confusion as to our roles. Trustee Rico is right. I have not attended any of these meetings previously, only unless invited to, because I recognize my role that when I walk in the room, I am seen as a trustee. And I've explained this several times every time I go to a meeting, that I am here as a guest. When they invite me to the front, I say no, and I sit forward facing the officers. Now, I showed up to a meeting because I was informed that Trustee Rico was attempting to make a motion on an agenda item. That is a no-no. We don't do that. So we should not even be attending these meetings. And if we do, we need to sit way in the back, and we are not allowed to participate in these conversations. We give up our right, yes, we give up our right as a parent to be seen as a parent when we are elected. If you want to advocate for your parent and speak as a parent, then resign as a board member and do that. But when you ran, you should be an elected official. So you can't have it both ways. It's either you're a board member or you're a parent. Make your choice.
Madam President, I need the microphone.
I'm going to give you 1 minute to Trustee Mendez, and then we're going to call for
I
discussion.
want to call in for discussion. You know, I came in the board and I I'm being followed to my home, to my
Please look
child.
at 209 times and you see who's being followed
Oh,
and
no.
that you were standing right in the front and somebody else that's your
Won't you
friend
give me my
also
name?
followed
Give
me.
me my
Thank you.
name, Madam President. I'm being followed.
You could
The
reset her
police-
minute.
Yeah, please give me my minute back. I'm being followed. It's been documented by the police. Please, if you want to get to know me, call me, make an appointment. It is sad for my son, is disabled. That still my son cannot come back to class because of the stress. 5 times they went to my house. I understand what she means, but I've been going through for 2 years. It needs to stop. We need to work together. Thank you.
Madam President, may I just add one point here? And I think it's time perhaps that the board may want to move on. What was very important from Saturday's meeting with CSBA, which is the organization that you brought in to provide the governance training to discuss the role of the board, is what Mr. Ladd and Mr. Bray said, is this board has an amazing opportunity to move this district forward if you all work together as a collective. The vote of the majority is the vote of the board. And I think it's important for us as you all sit there and contemplate these issues and moving the district forward, as you bring CSBA back, that many of these issues that you're discussing today, we may want to re-agendize and make sure that we hear it again from CSBA in terms of the duties and responsibilities of board members.
Point of order, call for discussion.
Thank you, Mrs. Diane.
Moving on to item 11.1, Superintendent's report.
Good evening. Oops. Oh, can y'all hear me now? All right. Good evening. I just want to say last week was a bit of a challenging week for me personally, and thank you for those of you that sent some condolences to me. I am going to read last week, or the board meeting Tuesday night went on till 11 o'clock, so I didn't have the opportunity to read. So some of this is going to seem a little old, but I still think it's worth sharing out. So last week I had the pleasure of getting to talk with one of the teachers over at Chavez High School, Mr. Shane Gruno, regarding the Titan Academy. And board members, I think this is some interesting information worth you all being aware of. Titan Academy serves our students who are credit deficient and in danger of not graduating from high school. And the school has started this, they're 4 semesters into this Titan Academy program. And there's been over 2,955 credits awarded, with 591 courses completed, with 54 seniors who were credit deficient coming into the academy who have successfully graduated from Cesar Chavez. So there is great things happening for our students in great environments. And I just want to acknowledge Mr. Gruno and the staff over there for their targeted efforts with our little ones, our big little ones over at the Titan Academy. And then also, it's been 2 weeks now, but I did have the pleasure of getting to be in Mrs. Creamer's 3rd grade class. And if you want to see magic happening, go into that class. I got to be in there for the Rotary read-in and read the students the book, The Energy Bus book for kids by John Gordon. We talked about 5 ways for having a joyful ride, and it was just great being in that class with Mrs. Creamer. We are continuing to make excellent strides in our efforts to reduce chronic absenteeism. We've improved we continue to improve about 15% in reducing the chronic absenteeism for our students. And then lastly, Miss Chief Myra was letting me know that we had our first crossing guard training for volunteers last week at Fremont Elementary. With originally there was 8 parents that turned into 12 parents who are going to start their volunteer efforts at the crossing guard after spring break. So that is some great stuff. And lastly, I do just want to say thank you, Vice President Stevens. It has definitely been a pleasure serving the last 7 months. And yes, there's been some roller coaster rides here in this journey, but it has overall been great because I have a room full of very committed. You look around the room, all the folks, I see Miss Gina there, folks that are here long hours, working long, hard days for our students. So thank you.
And also, I don't know if it's gone out, but I want to make sure that please spread the word. Chief has put out a notice already regarding the safety plan that's coming out. Chief, can you talk about that real quick, just so that everybody knows? I want to give you an opportunity because there's going to be some fallback. I just have a feeling it always is because not everybody's informed about it. So can you remind us again?
Yes, definitely. So this is Traffic Awareness Month. And so as part of that, we're rolling out our can you hear me?
Can you guys all hear?
Push the
Can you make
microphone.
sure it's lit up green?
Put your mic, no, you're like closer. How about now? There you go. Okay. So this month is Traffic Awareness Month. So as part of Traffic Awareness Month, we're rolling out our traffic safety and parking plan. And so as part of that, for the next 30 days, effective starting March 1st, for the remainder of the month, we'll be enforcing traffic at all of our school sites. This is a grace period, so parents would be educated in traffic safety, because our main goal is to ensure that our kids make it to school safe. And so it's letting parents know how to properly drop off their students, where and when. And so practically after that, we will take, continuing to do our traffic. There will be an enforcement component. Again, that doesn't necessarily mean that if you get stopped, you're going to get a ticket. It is going to be at the officer discretion after the month. But our biggest goal right now is to create that education for our parents to properly drop off their kids, and, for the main goal of them getting to school safe.
Thank you. All right, so principals out there, please send the notices out, and teachers, please let your students and parents know. This is something that we've been working on for years and years and years, and it's been an ongoing issue. And so I appreciate Chief and team to take notice of this and start working to improve our safety for our kiddos.
Thank you, Chief Franco.
Okay, moving on to items 11.2. Adoption of Resolution 22.76 proclaiming March 2023 as Arts Education Month in California Youth and Art Month. Can I get a motion?
Motion Stevens?
I'll second.
Discussion? Roll call vote?
President Flores,
Yes?
Vice President Stevens?
Yes.
Clerk Colon,
Yes.
Trustee Denier,
Yes.
Trustee Mendez, Trustee Rico,
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
11.3, adoption of resolution number 22-77 proclaiming March 2023 as Women's History Month. Can I get a motion?
Motion Stevens?
Second, President Flores. Discussion? Roll call vote?
President Flores,
Yes?
Vice President Stevens,
Yes.
Clerk Colon,
Yes.
Trustee Denier,
Yes.
Trustee Mendez, Trustee Mendez,
Yes.
Trustee Rico,
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Moving on to 11.4, adoption of resolution number 22-78 proclaiming March 31st, 2023 a Cesar Chavez Day of Service and Learning. Can I get a motion?
Motion Stevens?
Second, President Flores. Discussion? For those of you who don't know, Mexican Heritage Center has a Cesar Chavez breakfast every year. And I hope that our district can sponsor a table this year. And when we are able to do that, I would like to extend that invitation to our ethnic studies staff so that we can send them to that breakfast, please. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
President Flores,
Yes.
Vice President Stevens,
Yes.
Clerk Colon,
Yes.
Trustee Denier,
Yes.
Trustee Mendez,
Yes.
Trustee Rico,
Yes.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Item 13.1, adoption of resolution number 22-81 for reducing and eliminating particular kinds of certificated services for the 2023-24 school year. And that one does have a green sheet For transparency notification. That's this one, right? And that one is at the request of Human Resources, the title under Management Services being updated and removing one Chinese FTE from Exhibit 8 under Pre-K-12 Teaching Services. Can I get a motion?
I motion.
President Flores, second. Discussion?
So this means it's not being reduced or eliminated, the Chinese position?
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
President Flores,
Yes.
Vice President Stevens,
Yes.
Clerk Colon,
Yes.
Trustee Mendez,
No.
Trustee Mendez,
My microphone and my connection here don't even work to even connect my computer anyway, and my answer is no.
Trustee Rico,
I'm staying.
Trustee Zulueta,
No.
Trustee Danair.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-2 noes from Trustee Zulueta and Trustee Mendez, and one abstention from Trustee Rico.
Okay. Moving on to item 13.2, adoption of resolution number 22-82 for criteria for determining the order of seniority for those employees with the same date of first paid service for the 23-24 school year. Can I get a motion?
Motion Stevens.
Second, President Flores. Discussion? No discussion. Roll call vote, please.
President Flores,
Yes.
Vice President Stevens,
Yes.
Clerk Colon,
Yes.
Trustee Danair,
Yes.
Trustee Mendez,
No.
Trustee Rico,
No.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-2 with the 2 noes from Trustee Mendez and Trustee Rico.
Item 13.3, adoption of resolution number 22-83 to issue notices of intent to lay off classified positions for lack of work and or lack of funds. Can I get a motion?
Motion Stevens.
Second. Cologne.
Discussion?
I just have a question.
Go ahead.
When you say lack of work, what do you mean? It's for you. Maybe Mrs. Moreno can answer my question? Because I think she was the one who prepared this.
Lack of work basically means that the position is not going to be used because there's not a position there, or it's not gonna be, there's nothing for next year. For instance, the program is eliminated, therefore the position is eliminated.
Okay, my following question is, why we want to eliminate this, this position?
So there's different reasons. So there's ESSER funds. Positions are being funded under ESSER funds, which are ending this September 2023. So those positions should have not been in a federal funded program. They should have been placed in a different funding source. Therefore, they have to be removed from there.
Okay, so what I understand is we have a lot of money right now that we need to spend. So there's any way where we can get some money from there to keep these services?
So the district is faced with a financial circumstance in which you're trying to work yourself through. I'm not going to speak for the CBO, But obviously, there is a requirement by the County Office of Education for us to clear our books and make sure that we're allocating the proper funds to the proper positions.
Okay, thank you.
Gracias, Claudia. Roll call vote?
President Flores,
Yes.
Vice President Stevens,
Yes.
Clerk Colon,
Yes.
Trustee Denaire,
Yes.
Trustee Mendez,
No.
Trustee Rico,
No, because this is revenge against these people from Claudia Moreno and Trustee Flores. Thank you.
Trustee Zulueta.
Abstain.
Motion carries 4 with 2 noes from Clerk Mendez and Clerk Rico and 1 abstention from Trustee Zulueta.
Moving on to item 14.1, second interim report for 2022-23.
Next slide. Good evening, Madam President, Vice President, Clerk, Trustees, and Superintendent. I'm here tonight to present the second interim report. Can you guys hear me?
A little bit. Maybe we can give her the mic. Can we, yeah, can we give her the mic? Because she's gonna have to hold it down.
Start saying. Okay. Hello? Okay. Thank you. Second interim report represents the districts, the second official revision of the approved budget. And, sorry, can I start over? The second interim report represents the district, a second official revision to the adopted budget and includes actual data from January 31st, 2023. The certification addresses the district's ability to meet its financial obligations for the current year and 2 following years. Staff have been working with the SJCO advisor and on implementing the recommendations from the county, addressing vacancies and reconciling position control. All the hard work and the effort from the staff, SJCOE, advisor Ryland, Ryland Consultant, the second interim reflects a more accurate budget. We are recommending the board approves the 2022-23 second interim report with a positive certification. Next slide. This is the same data from the first interim report. Nothing has changed. This is our reporting schedule for 22-23. The only additional one that we had that's not normal is the readoption of the budget in September. Next slide. Changes since first interim. There's on January, in the January revise from the budget for January from the governor. He he said that these possibly can happen next year, and it's a 3.5 million ongoing for Narcan at middle schools and high school. 94.1 million ongoing for arts, music, and Proposition 28. And there is a 1.2 billion reduction in the current year to the arts, music, and desk engineering block grant. This is due to when they were doing the January budget, the state is looking at more than a $20 million deficit. And to help kind of offset that deficit that the state is looking at, one thing they will hit is the block grant. A couple of weeks ago, there was another article that the 20 million that they thought they were in deficit is actually higher. So it's probably most likely at May revised and at the enacted budget for July that will be reduced. And there's also a proposed 8.13 COLA for 23-24. Next slide. Next slide. Changes in revenue. Changes in revenue is due to COLA, unduplicated pupil count, increase to state and local revenue, and reduction in restricted and federal funding. The reduction that we're seeing up there for the 123 million in federal revenue is for the one-time and ESSER funding. So when we did budget adoption, we included that we were going to spend more of the ESSER funding and the one-time funding. What we're realizing is that is actually to go into the next year. So what we're doing in second interim is noticing that. So we're reducing that revenue down. So we're able to show it into the new budget for 23-24. And so that's where you see the 123 million. And we'll be using it in 23-24. Next slide. So changes in expenditures are the 21-22 salary settlements. So those were settlements that we received last year, but they're still being paid in this year. So that's why you'll see a change in the revenue. I mean, in the expenditures for certificated and classified is a little bit of an increase because we are paying those settlements out still. There's a decrease in material and supplies and operating expenses. This is also from the one-time funding. Since we realized when we were doing an analysis of the budget, we noticed that we're not going to be able to spend those funds within this year. So we're reducing those expenditures because we are going to budget in the 23-24 year. Next slide. This chart represents our ending fund balance. Our beginning balance for 22-23 was 223 million. This is for both restricted and unrestricted. All expenditures budgeted for this year, and after what we think we're going to spend, we are having an estimated increase to our fund balance of 38 million. And the estimated ending balance for 22-23 is 261 million. The components of the ending fund balance is non-spendable, which is our revolving account and our stores and our restricted funding. Other commitment is a resolution number 21.57, which states we will set aside $56,245,201. So this was done last year. And what we were saying is that we're going to commit those to certain expenditures. And there's a resolution that was done for that. So each time we do a reporting period, we have to make sure that's included because there is a resolution. We can always go back and look at that resolution and make any changes that we need. And then for the assignments, so with SUSD is required to retain 2% for economic uncertainties. That's a CDE rule. So we have to include that 2%. There is a resolution that was done 21-17 to increase the minimum statutory to 8 and 10%. So it would be an additional 8% that we're going to reserve. And that's kind of common. Most districts will have a percent of 17% for economic uncertainties. That's to help with rainy days. We only had 2%. So last year there was an increase to do an additional 8%. And because when you look at our budget and how much we spend out into salaries, but if we only kept 2% in and we had a rainy day, we wouldn't be able to cover most of our expenses for the month. So that's why we're increasing it to 8%. And then, and we also do that because we want to make sure that everyone knows that we are committed to being fiscally solvent. So after all those, there's 34 million that's unassigned. Next slide. These are all our funds that we have within the district. Fund 1, which is general fund, first interim. This was our ending balance. Then there's the net change in our expenses after we analyzed all the expenses for this year. And then that's our ending balance for second interim. Along with our charter school, which is Fund 9. Adult education. Adult education is mostly grants. So they pretty much balance within for the year. So they normally don't have an ending fund balance, but I don't want to say they normally do because sometimes there may be a chance that they can carry it over. But when we do the budget for the year, we do budget it all out. And then there's children development, which is Fund 12, children nutrition, Fund 13, deferred maintenance, which is Fund 14, building fund, which is Fund 21, capital facility funds, which is 25, 40 is special reserves. 51 is all our bond activities we do. So anytime we draw down or we pay on a bond, that's the fund we use. Fund 56 is for payments for debt, like our sinking payment fund. And 67 is our benefits, like workers' comp, insurance, any of those insurance that we have to do. Next slide. This right here is our multi-year projection. This is our unrestricted side. So I know what you mean. Next time I'll make sure I highlight it so you can see where our net is for that. So if you look, it's towards the down, it says net increase, decrease in fund balance. It's about 10, it says 10 million. Sorry, I didn't highlight that for you guys. So if you look at the next 3 years, we are not deficit spending. We actually are underspending. So we do have money that's going into our fund balance. So that is a lot of reasons why we're having these different changes is there is an increase in LCFF. We did clean the budget. So what we did, one thing was go through position control. Position control hadn't been reconciled for a while. So we sat there and actually with HR and departments and the fiscal advisor from county and went through each position and seen which was needed. There were some positions that were created by mistake. So one thing with position control is the position doesn't belong to the person. Position control means the position belongs to the site. I'm not sure what happened, but a couple of years, the position was being moved with the person. So those positions were being assigned to a different site. And so when that position was coming back to the new site, they thought it wasn't open. So they created another one. So we had to do a lot of cleanup on that and making sure, because the position never belongs to the person, it belongs to the site. So we don't move the person, we don't move the position number, we move the person into a new position. If you look too at the chart, we do look at 24, 25. We don't have, we drop in the amount that we're contributing to ending fund balance. It's about 336,000. And the reason for that is our revenue for LCFF had dropped. We do a 3-year average for LCFF. And it could have been ADA change in there, but we still have time to fix that because it's going to be this year and the next year to be able to do that 3-year percentage for LCFF. So we still have time to change. So that may change. And then we also moved the ESSER positions that are being paid, that are going to be paid next year. We moved the ones that are still staying into general fund, but we really do need to look at it and analyze them and see if it's something that we still need to maintain for the support of the students. Next slide. This is our restricted side. And on this one, you see our net increase in fund balance, but we do decrease at the next 2 years out. And that's because we're spending down those one-time funds. So our fund balance in that is made up of our one-time funding. And so the next year and the year after that, we are trying to spend down those one-time funds because they are a great benefit for this district. So we want to make sure we utilize those funds because we can bring extra services to the students. Next slide. So our next steps are to attend the governor's May 23-24 budget revised. And what that does, it gives us information that may happen when the budget is enacted for the next year. So we get a lot of useful information. We'll probably get more information about what the status of the California's health is with the finances. So we'll get more, and that's what we're going to use to help establish our budget for the 23-24 year. We're going to continue projections for 23-24 enrollment and staffing. We're going to be working more with our sites and making sure that we have the right positions in that department that's going to be able to support our students. And then we're continue to monitor our enrollment and monitor our one-time funds and uses. We want to make sure we pay those down, and anything that we can offset from our general fund that's allowed through one-time funding, we want to use that so that helps us build up a healthy reserve. So we are asking today for the board to recommend a positive certification for second interim. Any questions?
How much do we net from the position control? We have not the exact, but do you have like a ballpark figure?
It was about 10 million, close to 10 million. And we were just adjusting it around. And a lot of it was because I think it was just when history leaves, sometimes it's the list, when people leave, the history leaves. So I don't think they really knew what I meant by position control. And maybe they thought it was okay to move those positions, but they never moved them back into the correct one. So other positions being created. And when we see open positions, we are supposed to budget for them. But that's why we had to really look at it and make sure which ones were valid, because if we kept over budgeting and we didn't use it, we could have been using those funds for something else throughout the year.
Thank you for the report. I just have a quick question. You mentioned the reserved amount. I thought I heard you say that there was an average of 17% or 13% by other districts.
Most districts, especially with our size, we keep about a 17% in our economic for any uncertainties. That's the comment, but the CD only requires 2%. And if you really look at it, 2% would only cover maybe 1 month of our payroll. And so it's very important that we build that up. So I think last year they created the one to do it 8%. So we have 10% in a funny rainy day fund. I am hoping to get it up to at least 15%. That's just to make sure we stay fiscally solvent.
Joanne and your team, I know there's some folks here. I just want to acknowledge your diligent, you're working to get this situated. It was very challenging. I know you all work late nights, weekends, Saturdays, Sundays, and I want a heartfelt thank you to you and your team because I know this was a twisted knot that you inherited.
Can you have the microphone?
Go ahead.
I did talk to several people from the Department of Education. You know, I asked questions around and they told me then you're very good with numbers. And I searched you a little bit. It is really good that we have these numbers. The only thing that it bothers me, and when people call me, families call me and crying about we're letting them go by seniority or whatever. And I understand that we had to make room, get out from the old and get the new. That's how they feel. And I always respect seniority. Always number one seniority. People work for a living. They got degrees, they got everything. And they say now they don't mean anything. But I understand that this is all things that you gotta go through. But it's sad when you hear the other person, I don't see the face. I just know I'm gonna be there and this is what's gonna happen. And as a board member, I don't want to hurt families. I don't want to hurt children because I know how it is. But this is the reality, is the real world everywhere. But I wanted to thank you for bringing the numbers. It's just I don't like the situation that is going through right now. And I want to thank you for your sincerity and the sincerity of the Department of Education and Sacramento also for what they told me. Thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call vote, please.
President Flores.
Sorry, can we get a motion?
Yes, thank you.
I motion.
Second.
Seconded by Donald Denaire. Roll call vote.
President Flores,
Abstain.
Vice President Stevens,
Yes.
Clerk Colon,
Yes.
Trustee Denaire,
Yes.
Trustee Mendez,
Yes.
Trustee Rico,
Yes, and thank you.
Trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0 with one abstention from President Flores.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joanne. 14.2. Approval of the purchase order board report for the month of December 2022. Can I get a motion?
Motion Stevens.
Second. Cologne.
Discussion? No discussion. Roll call vote, please.
President Flores,
Abstain.
Vice President Stevens,
Yes.
Clerk Colon,
Yes.
trustee Danier,
Yes.
trustee Mendez,
Yes.
trustee Rico,
Yes.
trustee Zulueta.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0 with one abstention from President Flores.
Thank you. And we adjourn the meeting at 7:26 PM. Woo!